Fresh Produce Exporters Forum. We represent 95% of all the fresh produce export by South Africa. So we have more than 150 members. You've heard earlier today Berries ZA, they're exporters on berries, also members, and Westphalia, also one of our members. So that's good to have them all here, and to give them that the information that they also here, and there we are, and members of the industry. So just some information before I just get to the presentation on the stone fruit. Let me just see if I've got this one correct here. Do I press the correct button here? Yes, there. We're a very organized industry in South Africa. As I said, you heard about Berries South Africa, the subtropical fruit, and we're all organized in an umbrella organization called Fruit South Africa. Linking on to what was said previously, the counter-seasonality, that means that we produce and export fruit from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere when that does not compete with the fruit in the northern hemisphere, in this case India, also the stone fruit. Just some summary, we contribute about $4 billion to the South African economy every year, provide jobs, and we've got a big focus on innovation. We're a solution-driven industry, international, we're the largest volume of Southern Hemisphere exports of all the 8 countries in the Southern Hemisphere, and we're a member of quite a number of international organizations. So South Africa is a country with 9 provinces. We're blessed with various climatic zones, and that enables us to produce fruit from avocado right through to table grapes, apples, pears, stone fruit, berries that you see there on the map. So just more information on stone fruit. I'll just quickly go through the areas planted, the orchard ages and distribution, and then some trends with regards to the stone fruit. You can see the total area planted, stone fruit, primarily in the Western Cape province, 55,000 hectares, and you can see there on the deciduous fruit, we see the most of the apples, and then on the stone fruit as well, we can see the plantings there for plums the most. The age distribution that you see there, the 6 to 15 years, that gives you an indication that the South African industry is really renewing itself. We don't have so many trees in the ground that are too old. So we're getting new plantings, new varieties. In apricots, just hectares, it's declining due to various reasons that we see there. But I think for India, more important would be the nectarines and the plums. We see the upward trend, 26% growth that we've experienced there from 2018 till last year in nectarines. Dessert peaches also going down, 22%. Not that much demand in international markets. But then plums, I think that is also a big one that we saw currently the 8% growth, and it's still on an upwards trajectory. Just again, the apricot inspections, look at the 7-year trend, it's down. On the nectarines, we see the upward trend again, confirmed there from the various provinces where it's being produced. On the nectarines, if you look at the medium-term projection from 2027, 2028, for where we now, we foresee a 34% increase in plums. So we're already exporting plums to India. We're being faced with in-transit cold sterry treatment that we want to do the in-transit while the fruit is on water. But the Indian government currently requires land-based. 2 weeks before we can put the fruit on the ship, it must be treated, cold treated. So, and that might reduce the quality. So therefore, we're looking, if you look at that growth, we need the Indian market, and I think the Indian market needs South African plums as well. On the peaches, we also see growth there, very small, 5%. Again, on the plum inspections, why mention inspections? South Africa does have two levels of inspection to ensure that you get good quality and safe fruit. We've got our Department of Agriculture issuing the phytosanitary certificates, and then we do have an institution called the Perishable Products Export Control Board, PPECB. Two functions. They certify the quality of the fruit, look at the color, the firmness, etc., and also the cold chain to ensure that everything is maintained properly. And those two, I think, inspections ensures that we can ship high quality fruit to our customers internationally, to India, because if the fruit does not meet that strict international criteria, the food safety criteria, it's being rejected for export. It cannot be loaded onto the vessel. Again, if you look at the projection on the plums, as we said, the 32% growth that we foresee to 2027, 2028. Just interesting, in 2005, 2006, we had about 8 million cartons exported. And for all intents and purposes, India is then grouped together with the Middle East, just more than 3,000 tons here. The biggest market still the EU, the UK, but the consumption is declining there, so we need the new markets as well, as I've said, so we have a big focus here. Although it's only 11% it was in 2005, 2006, if we see what happened now, this year, from the 8 million cartons to 22.5 million on the stone fruit. And we see the growth in the Middle East from 3,000 tons to 17.6 thousand tons. We see the decline in the UK and Europe. It was 88%, now it's 71%. It's still a big market, but we need to focus on the East here. As we said, that we see that we've seen a 22% growth in the markets here. The future growth from South Africa, we see the Middle East, the Far East, and Asia being the primary markets for growth, as we see there. And just on the map there, where is South Africa? Right at the southern tip of Africa. Sometimes people don't realize that Africa is a continent and not a country. They would say, "No, listen, do you know my uncle, he lives in Kenya." So Kenya is about 10,000 or 5,000 kilometers from Cape Town, where we are. So just to give you that indication that these are growth industry on the stone fruit, and I think for India, primarily plums and nectarines that we foresee there. So thanks again.